Welcome to my channel. I'm Scott, and in this video, I am going to walk you through the process of valuing Transocean stock by analyzing their financial statements and dissecting their financial ratios so we can determine if it's a buy or a sell. Transocean, I'm kind of joking. So I'm looking at Transocean. I'm going to be doing this video tomorrow, taping it tomorrow. And I did Transocean, I can't remember, like maybe December. So like 10 months ago. And it really has gone up a lot, the stock. It's yeah, it was real low. It was under $1 at one point. Right when an oil crash. Remember when oil prices turned negative in like May or June of last year? But so it got real low. Now it peaked at $5. It's at $4 right now. I'm not sure if there's that much upside, but I could see value. I think I could see value in the company. It's just it's a really volatile stock. It has a beta of 3.5, so it moves 3.5 times the market. So it's kind of all over the place. That's the problem. What they say, you have to buy the dips or when the market's low, but nobody has money. Like, I don't sit on cash just waiting for a dip. You just don't when I have cash, it's just, if it happens to be a dip when I have cash, then it's a good thing. But if I have cash during the market's at a high point, then I have to just find something at that point. I'm not going to sit and wait for months or years till there's a correction. And did anybody see that comment I posted? Let me pull it up. Yeah, I just invest. That's what I do. Yeah, exactly. Just invest. Whenever I have money, that's the best time to invest. I don't dollar cost average. Mathematically, as the faster you can invest, the better. Because the market generally goes up over time, right? So the longer you wait, the more you're going to lose out on that upside. 328 is the average expected price for the stock. Did you guys read this comment? I posted this. This is from that company, the evil company. Because so someone is trying to kind of cut me down to try to minimize the video, and they're like, with a market cap of close to $500 billion. That's a big market cap. The market cap for this company is 400 million, not 500 billion. But he says 500 billion, and almost 5 billion outstanding. I don't know what shares outstanding has anything to do with anything. It's a meaningless number to quote. The number of shares outstanding is meaningless. But so he quotes the shares outstanding with 5 subsidiaries. You don't know the meaning of microscopic. And I was like, when did I say microscopic? I must have said it in the video. I don't even remember. And I said, who has a market cap of 500 billion? And I go, is MC market cap? because he goes MC of close to 500 billion. So I figured MC didn't need market cap because they don't have a 500 billion market cap. How do you this guy must be either a really new investor or just really kind of clueless of how the markets work, because 500 billion market cap would make it like one of the biggest companies in the world. That's a big company. 500 billion. That's probably like 20th biggest company in the world, maybe. I don't know. I could understand if someone was looking at a 5 billion market cap and they said 50 billion. I don't know. Like, I can understand that a little more, but when you jump from 400 million to 500 billion, it's just you just have no clue on how the markets work, because it's just I don't think he's he might be a troll, but I think I think he really thought it's 500 billion. We're talking about I think DPLS. But it's kind of like if you want to buy a home and your price range was 100,000 and the realtor quoted you 100 billion. Like, it's not like there's no way you could logically say that, like, go from 100,000 to 100 billion. Like, that wouldn't be like a careless mistake. It just would be like you have no clue of what's going on in the world, in the realty world. It's like if you buy cars, if you're like a car expert, and instead of saying this car is worth 100,000, you say it's like 50 million. You know, it's just there's just no way. It's clueless. Any judge is just going to throw his claims out. Yeah. Hey, Phil, what's up? Anybody to help us cause a short squeeze for Triteris is welcome. We're waiting. So his response when I said this was duh, because I'm so stupid. Asking is MC equals market cap, and I said, you're the one who said they have a 500 billion market cap, which is he still didn't get it. Like, I mean, it's just like, unless he's from another country and he didn't realize B equals billion and M equals like and he still didn't get it. Like, I go, and he said, I said close to 500 billion. Relax and be more thorough. Because when I did the video, it was 500 million. Now it's closer to 400 million. So that's what he's referring to. But it's just, yeah, FBRX. That's in the queue. Are you the one who said FBRX? Somebody commented on that, so I added that. So if it's in the queue, Shaman, what's up? Thank you. Appreciate the donation. My favorite YouTuber, Base Shaman. Really funny guy. I've been following him for a few years. And then I'd say like 95% of the tickers in the queue I'm going to do. But sometimes I just start start the due diligence, and I just can't figure out the company, so I just move on to another company. Um, but I'll probably do it. And it me and SANP. What do you make of Sage? Oh, Sage. Somebody else talked about Sage the other day. Uh, 2 billion market cap. Wow, a billion. They must have something to do with COVID, right? From 6 million to a billion. Sheesh. It went from a billion back down to 1.5 million and 1.6 million. How could that be? How could it be such? Yeah, I think I'm pretty bullish on oil. Um, there's going to be like the fact that so many people are on lockdown, even though we're not technically on lockdown anymore. Like I don't want to travel. Like I don't want to go to another country. I'm not worried about COVID. It's just I just don't want to deal with wearing a mask all the time, and so I think a lot of people are not traveling as much. So once at some point, once things are totally COVID is totally gone, there's going to be lots of travel. There's a lot of like kind of it's like a bottleneck. A lot of people are haven't been on vacation for a while. So yeah, oil is going to definitely go up. I don't know about 200. That's a little aggressive, but rig. So I think it peaked at like 175 oil at its height. That's right when the Great Recession, right? There was that whole like the like the big oil producing companies were kind of like limiting what the oil they were gonna supply, and there was a big shortage. But it's just really supply and demand because once like oil prices are coming back up, so as oil prices get higher, more companies produce oil because they want to take advantage of the higher prices. So they're producing a lot more oil than they were before. But if they continue producing so much, supply exceeds demand and then the price comes down. Like demand for oil is pretty static. It's always been increasing like 1% a year for like the past 100 years. It's always going to be demand no matter what, even if there's a recession. The pandemic, it actually went down oil because people were locked away in our house. But outside of a pandemic, even during a recession, oil still increases because people still need to get to work and people need to get to the grocery store, things like that. So there's always going to be demand for oil. It's just how much supply will be generated, how much oil will be generated, and that's really dependent on the price. So if oil gets up to these prices, like 100 plus, these oil companies are going to be making money hand over fist. But and they would like this company, I'm looking at Transocean Rig. Their revenue was really high. I have it right here, I think. See, their revenue in 2008, 9 was really high, over 10 billion. Even in 2014, it was like almost 9 billion. Now look at it. It's like 2 billion. So it's cyclical. It's really cyclical because demand is there. It's just the price. If it comes down too far, these companies can't make any money because it costs money to extract oil. If it costs $30 to extract oil or $40 to extract oil, they lose money every time they sell oil if it's below $40. But this company Rig is only they lease out these big ocean rigs. Like they lease these things out. These things are massive. 7,000 tons. This one, the ultra deep water rig, you can drill 30 to 40,000 feet below the ocean floor. That's what it's capable of doing, because you have to go that far to pull the oil. I'm watching this on my phone at work. I wish I was in front of my computer. Yeah, that's very perceptive. I did stop doing the whack, not because I didn't. I just stopped it really to be more transparent. So you can recreate these models on your own. Because if I calculate the whack, it's not hard to calculate the whack. It's just everybody can does it kind of differently, and I had a blended whack that I used, so there was really no way for you to calculate the same whack as I did. So I'm just pulling it now. But if I don't agree with the websites, if they're really far off, because I look at multiple sites, and like for this company Finbox, the whack is like almost 20%. So I just used Simply Wall Street because I thought 20% was too high. What bank and insurance company stocks? Bank and insurance companies? Well, like Berkshire Hathaway. Go to sleep? Shaking my head. What does that mean? I don't know. I mean, I usually go with the bigger banks like JP Morgan. Those are pretty safe investments, banks. I don't really do bank valuations, but it's a pretty safe investment, I think. At least the bigger banks like Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Yeah, your banks really crashed during the subprime crisis. I don't know. I don't really understand how to value a bank. It's so complicated. To understand their balance sheet, because you'd have to value like all the derivative contracts and all the it's Well, I'm in California, so it's only 8:45. Are you on the East Coast, Agav, or are you like in Europe or something? And it's like 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning. CNQ? Oh, that's yeah, Canadian Natural Resources. That's a good company. But don't you feel like why would you invest in Canadian stocks? Not that anything wrong with Canadian stocks, and it's a great. I think it's a great country. The pretty stable economy. It's just the upside for U.S. stocks is so much greater. Like there's so many U.S. stocks that have gone up so many multiples. Canadian stocks aren't as. I'm sure there's some, but CNQ. I can't remember. March was the last time I did CNQ. It's because you're Canadian. No, I get that. I'm not. But you could invest in a lot of U.S. stocks, even on the TSX. I am imagining you could on TSX, right? So I said 54, and this was 3.3. Okay, so I'm in the middle. 35. I said 54, and now it's 43. But when I do a video, I would say like give it a year. Hey Ben, what's up? Of course, like I do a video, and then the next day someone's like, "You're an idiot. You said the stock was overvalued. It's up 10%." Like, all right, I did CNQ.to. Well, that's pretty close. Wow, that worked out. But even if I'm right, even if I'm even if I'm close, I wouldn't say like I'm great at this, and I knew I could. I knew it. Like I wouldn't like it's kind of a guess in a sense. I mean, of course, I'm using information to. It's not a total guess, but like there's going to be a lot where I get it right and a lot where I get it wrong. It's just there's it is easier with this company because it has stable revenue, stable cash flows. But when I do like Zomedica or like what's that Camber, like there's no way. Um, but it is a lot easier with like a company like Google or something because you have a longer history and you have a stable. I really hope. Um, I really hope Waiter pulls through. Frog legs. Oh hey, oh Fred, what's up? Thanks for hopping on. Yeah, I really hope I'm right with Waiter stock. I mean, I could look like an idiot and lose a lot of money, but WTRH. You notice I only post updates when the stock price goes up. Like when it goes down, I don't post updates. Only when it goes up. Um, but this is don't follow my lead on this one. This is not my usual. I I'm just trying to I'm just trying something different. I'm investing in a really in a micro cap stock, but I could be way off on this. But I think it looks really good. So obviously that's why I did it. No, Buffett. No, I think he's the best. He's like the only person I listen to. I can't stand. You know, I don't like listening to people talk about stocks. Actually, it's just it bores me. But he's the only one that I could listen to. Fundamentals don't matter in the short term. In the long term, I mean, short term, no one knows, right? But but that's why you got to hold out, and that's why I say if I predict the stock price and within a month I get it right, it was just lucky I got it right that quickly. I could have been way off after a month. It's a long term game. If you look in 5 years from now, if you look at my predictions, maybe not 5 years, maybe like 2 years. Tesla, it is overvalued, but they sell a lot of cars. I mean, and the future is EVs. So I mean, I wish I would have invested in it like people were telling me to do in 2014 and 15, but I didn't because I always saw like they were losing money for years, and I didn't. Yeah, but you don't know, like there's a lot of scenarios where Tesla could start losing a lot of money. Like if like they rely on a lot of rebates, right? Like if if an individual doesn't get a rebate when they buy the car, then their sales would really struggle. Because when you buy an electric car, you get like a tax credit, right? I just did another EV stock. What? I can't remember what it was. I just did an EV. I can't remember what the name of the company was. Oh, Arrow, AYRO. Did that post yet, Arrow? That might post tomorrow. Has anybody heard of this stock or invested in Arrow? They make electric commercial vehicles, like like golf carts, but not just golf carts. Like you can use it to you can put like 1,000 pounds of something on it, like deliver food in these little trucks. They go slow, like 30 miles an hour max. They're good if within like a community, not on the road. Net method of valuing. Net method. What's the net method? What does that mean? What looks interesting is their market cap is so much lower than all the other EV companies. Even the smallest EV companies, Green Power Motor, they just make electric buses, and they're 1/3 of that. And Green Power is a really small company. I mean, some of these companies are like 100 times as big. Of course, they have a lot more sales, but most of these companies are losing money. Like the only company that's making money is Tesla and new technologies. They just make electric scooters. But it's hard to figure out, like we know electric cars are going to be, there's going to be a lot of demand for electric cars, but which company is going to supply besides Tesla? I don't know what they're doing when it comes to trading. White label electric trucks. Yeah, I guess that's how you describe it, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, tomorrow morning it'll post. Yeah, these like yeah, I guess like if you go to, if you go to a university, especially a big one, like I went to in Buffalo, like the security guards use this to get around, or in a condo development. Yeah, candy. Yeah, like candy. Don't they just make regular cars, just smaller? I didn't do candy yet. I should do candy. Why didn't I do candy? See, they have 76. Well, they have about 100 million in sales, and they have 350 million market cap. This company has about 2 million in sales, so they don't have any sales. That's the problem. That's why the market cap is so low. Yeah, I'll do candy. It was trading at 16 last year. Now it's 5. Wow. It's been around a while. This is probably a different company back then. Yeah, it got up to almost 14. There's just so many. There's just so many companies trying to cash in on EVs. It's it's like which one do you invest in? Because Tesla is the best, but it's so expensive. Neo is pretty good, I guess, right? Lion Electric got a contract with. That's the thing. If Arrow announces that, like, say Walmart or like Amazon or even um like the Hilton hotel chain, they wanted to buy 10,000 arrows to put into their resorts. Like just that alone, the stock price will shoot up. Kenny was never the same after the Hindenburg short report. They pretty much sealed the fate. I mean, just because a company shorting a stock doesn't affect the company's fundamentals. Like, I mean, the stock may go down, but it will go back up as long as they keep getting sales. What was that other company that somebody said in the beginning? The pharmaceutical company. Oh, Sage. Why did Sage have so much sales? Yeah, why did they have so much sales in that one quarter, and then it just fell apart after that? Is it a COVID vaccine? Sage explained the use of Brexaline to potentially mitigate the morbidity and mortality associated with COVID-19. I think utility electric vehicles. I think so too. I'm just not sure. Do they say? I know. An EV would save me a lot of money in gas because we usually drive a lot, right? Especially if we drive long distances. But I guess a utility truck will also drives a lot too. It drives all day, or it's always driving. So maybe I don't think Tesla's ever going to release a semi. It's a Sage. Electric planes, Ricey. Ricey. I do want to put a lot into Ricey. I just need to get some cash. It's getting so low. I mean, I don't think electric planes. That's not why I want to buy Ricey. I think they're just gonna start as things open up more. I think because the thing with Ricey is they like they make aircraft engines, and they're one of the biggest aircraft engine manufacturers in the world. But they don't really make much money from selling aircraft engines. They make a lot more money, and it's a lot higher margin from servicing the aircraft engines. So when they sell the engine to United Airlines has a bunch of Ricey engines in their planes, they don't make that much money from selling those engines. Like they sell it to Boeing or whatever, or whoever. But the more the plane flies, the more Ricey needs to service the engine, because it's hard to service an aircraft engine. It's not like anybody can do it. It takes a lot of special skills. So all those service contracts, they make the most money because it's really high margin. But if the planes aren't flying, right? If there's like a pandemic and travel's down 90%, then there's not as much need to maintain the engines. For every new B-52 plane for the U.S. military through 2035, I believe. See, yeah, things like that. Yeah, but it's just the stock is really struggling. I mean, it's down so much. It's down like what, 80% the past decade. $121 was the low. And the propulsion engines for the submarines and mini nuclear reactors. They do have some amazing things in the pipeline. I talked about it in my third Rolls-Royce video about just some crazy stuff they have. Like they're gonna fly to Mars. I don't know. I wonder where our path to net zero. A space. Maybe this is it. Yeah. They have a strong moat. Yeah, I guess. So they're gonna create hypersonic. They're gonna create the satellites, and they're gonna manufacture these devices. First, they're gonna go to the moon. That's gonna be the base, the moon base, so they could land on the moon and then make sure everything's working correctly and fix anything that's maybe broke from the trip from Earth to the moon. That's the base. Then they're gonna go to Mars from the moon because it's a shorter trip, and that's another base. Rolls-Royce, well, Rolls-Royce always made aircraft engines, but they also made cars too. But then in like 1980, maybe, I don't remember what year, they stopped making cars. That part of the business filed bankruptcy. But BMW acquired the rights. I mean, some other companies acquired the rights, but BMW now has the rights to make Rolls-Royce cars. They bought the patent or license from somebody. But Rolls-Royce Holdings is an active company that makes aircraft engines, and they've been making aircraft engines for 100 years. They've been making cars for like not as long. Like they started making cars, I think they started making engines in like 1906, and then they started making cars like in 19 something. 1904. It's the second largest maker of aircraft engines after GE. So it's a big company. And it's the 16th largest defense contractor. Yeah, it started as an engineering business in 1884. And then in 1904, it started the car business, which was a separate, like a subsidiary. It was part of the Rolls-Royce brand, but it was just a different division, the car unit. It was 71. They liquidated that business. It just wasn't profitable. But yeah, it ended up getting acquired by different companies, but now BMW has the name, but the past 2 months, Ricey has been winning American contracts over GE. See, that's big. If it could win contracts over GE, the thing is with, like in America, like we wouldn't let like JP Morgan or Citibank fail, right? We had to bail them out. We gave them a lot of money so they wouldn't file bankruptcy during the subprime crisis. I feel like Rolls-Royce is the same way in Britain. Like the British government won't let them fail. They're just too important. They have just such a long history, over 130 years. They've been a big part of Britain. So that's what I like about companies like this. When it's too big to fail, it's kind of like Nokia in Switzerland. Is it Switzerland? No, Finland. Nokia in Finland. It's such a big part of Finland. Nokia, it's the biggest company by far. And when you have a company that supplies so many jobs, it's just people really, people like appreciate that company so much more, and they should. I mean, if you own a business and you employ even 5 people, you're giving 5 people the opportunity to support themselves, support their families, pay taxes. But when you have a company that's been around for 100 years or even 20, 30 years that gives jobs to thousands and thousands of people, it's important part of that country. So that's why I like Nokia and Rolls Royce for those reasons. Even though the stock isn't doing so great. The UK economy is in chaos. I didn't even realize that. But the thing is, they weren't doing that bad. Like, well, 2020 was obviously a rough year because they had 11.8 billion pounds, which was like 40% less than 2019. But before 2020, they had positive operating cash flow, positive free cash flow. So they were doing fine. I think it's the debt, right? They have a lot of debt. Is that the big problem? They're up to 7 billion pounds, and they have no equity, negative equity. Their current assets do cover their current liabilities. See, so this is what I don't. So that should impact the WACC. It has a lot of debt. Well, it does. Yes and no. No, I don't. Simply Wall Street. I think they overvalue stocks. Really overvalue stocks. The only reason I use it is because it gives it values stocks. So I just have something to show against mine. I actually I don't like, to tell you the truth, most sites I don't like, and most analysts I don't like. I actually can't stand listening to most people. I just get so bored. I usually don't. But this is what I'm saying. JP Morgan, I have no idea how to, obviously cash, I understand what cash is, but like they have so many investments and I have no idea how to understand these. Like I know they obviously they loan out money. That's what banks do. They take in money and loan it out to others. And then they have derivative assets. It's a really confusing. That's why I don't understand how to value the company. So I just don't even do it. Banks. That's why I don't do banks or most financial companies. Oh, you know what? Looks like a really good stock. I just did a video of that today. Pinduoduo. NMM or ERN. If oil prices go up, all those stocks will go up. It's very simple. Oil stocks are very simple. If oil prices go up, the stock goes up. If oil prices go down, stock goes down. It's almost always going to move with the price of oil. It's pretty straightforward. Same thing with gold stocks, gold mining stocks or silver mining stocks or any uranium mining stocks. The price of the commodity, if it goes up, the stock goes up. If it goes down, the stock goes down. This company is really amazing. Does anybody know about Pinduoduo? I'm glad somebody mentioned this to do this company, PDD. I'm glad they mentioned it. Look how big the company is, 125 billion market cap. Yeah, I like One Oak. One Oak is one of my favorites also. ET, One Oak, those are, what's the other one? I don't know. This Pinduoduo, this is going to be huge. Of course, it's a Chinese company though, so Chinese stocks sometimes don't get like Alibaba, like the price goes down based on the Chinese government, not so much to how the company's operating. But this is just, look at that. This is in Chinese ones. So you have to divide by 7. So it's about $250 million of revenue in 2017. And now they have 13 billion. It did come down. It came down in the trailing 12 months because 2020, like you order, it started out as a place for farmers to sell produce like fruits and vegetables. It's expanded to more, but 2020 was an amazing year because of COVID, and people in China were locked down, so they had no access to food. So companies like this that ship produce to people's homes obviously did really well. But you could see, look, and I explained it in my video. They have they lost 10 billion in 2018. They lost 7 billion in 2020. See, look at these large net losses, right? But look how much cash they're generating. With a huge net loss, they still generated nearly 30 billion, which is still that's 4 billion US dollars. They're generating tons of cash. But watch the video. I explain in the video why they have so much cash flow. Yeah. PB&J, Kanye was good, but not really. I started researching PBA yesterday. But is anybody familiar with this company? Pinduoduo? No, I don't own crypto. I've never owned crypto. It's only in China though, but so if you go to the website, like I just gave an example of if I wanted to buy this Logitech mouse, it retails for $100. I could buy it on the website for $100, or I can get a group discount where I don't know how many people. I'm just guessing. Like, say you need to get 30 people in your group to buy the same mouse, and then you could all pay $70. So you start a group of buying this mouse, or you could do anything, a vacuum, um, and then you let your friends and family, everybody in your social media networks know, i- if you want to buy this mouse, you can get it for $70 instead of $100. And if 30 people buy it, or however many people in the lot buy it, then everybody gets it for $70. And so you can go on a website and look at groups, like, and you don't have to know anybody in the group. It could say, you know, 39 of 40 people are filled up in the group. They just need one more. And if it's something you really want, you could get it for like 30-40% off. So the manufacturers of the products are selling stuff on this website. So if I was Logitech and a retail store if a retail store, like a computer store, right? It could be just one guy owns a computer store, and he buys 20 mouses from Logitech every month. He can't buy like a million like Walmart because he's a little store. He buys 20, and Logitech sells it to him for probably like $50 or whatever, and he sells it for $100. Walmart probably gets it for like $30. But this site lets the consumer, like me and you, become a retail store. And it works well because, especially if you're an influencer, like you have a lot of followers on your social media platform, you could mention like, oh, I'm buying this. It could be anything. I'm buying these AirPods. Or it could be just something simple like a dozen eggs. Instead of paying $3, you could pay $2, like the supermarket will pay a similar price supermarket pays. And you could have like 1,000 people in your group, especially if it's a common item. Like everybody wants to buy bread, right? Everybody needs to buy like certain foods. It's really amazing. And if they bring this over to other countries, like you can use it now, but you have to know Chinese, but it only ships within China. If you live outside of China, you can't get it. But that's the thing. These Chinese companies don't need to go global because there's so many people in China. They can just get all the sales they want within their country. Because there's, what is it, like close to 2 billion people. So it pretty much started out with farmers, especially farmers who who lived in like poor areas, like where people made almost nothing. It was a way for them to sell to more affluent areas, and it also kind of like helps the farmers. There's like a training program for farmers to train them how to use the website, how to understand e-marketing, and how to understand finance. It's like a whole big training program, like designed to help impoverished farmers connect to people on social media and sell produce around China. John, thank you. Appreciate it. That's nice. Yeah, I have a lot of Canadians. I do a lot of Canadian stocks. Yeah, China is risky. I know. So I don't blame you for not wanting to buy. I'm a little concerned about buying Chinese stocks, but Alibaba I think is a good buy because it's so undervalued. But the reason this company makes so much money is I'm farming right now. Because a lot of banks um, make a bulk of their money from earning interest on the cash that's in their accounts. So if you put money into your bank account, the bank usually lends it out to someone else, right? And charge them like 8% interest or 9% interest. But all the money that's in the bank, they don't just sit on it. They're investing it all. Usually they invest it into like really safe short-term securities like treasury bonds or commercial paper. So it only pays like maybe 1% interest. But when you or even a 0.5% interest. But if you have like this company has the equivalent of 86 billion wons, which is like 12 billion US dollars. Even at 1% interest or 0.5% interest, that's a lot of income. The interest income, this is the interest they make on just the cash that's sitting in their accounts. Like they had revenue of 59 billion. This is in Chinese ones. Their interest income was 2.5 billion. But the thing with interest income is that it's all profit. It's not like you have to work for that. Like when you make sales in your business, you have to pay employees, you have to pay a lot of things. You might have to buy a warehouse, you might have to pay for supplies. But when you make interest income, it's all profit. You don't have any, it's 100% margin. Like this revenue number, after you pay your employees, after you pay for marketing, all that stuff, sometimes you end up losing money. But it's 100% profit. They have, and the more customers they have, and the bigger they get, just the more money that sits in their accounts. So it's just like a bank, really, Pinduoduo. It's pretty amazing. So I think it's going to be worth a lot of money, even if they just focus on, because a lot of these financial institutions, the way they make money, like PayPal, they don't really, there are sometimes fees with PayPal, but usually it's free. PayPal, the way they make money is that if you transfer money to a friend using PayPal, it takes usually, it's not like right away. Sometimes it takes a day or 2 or 3 days if you use a bank or financial institution to transfer money. That's how they make money. They make interest, the overnight interest they make. Yeah. PayPal is going to buy Pinterest. That's nuts, right? And Facebook is going to change its name to The Facebook, which was its original name. So right. So financial institutions, the way they make money is on the float. Like if you give $100 to your friend, then they don't give it to your friend for another day or two. They have millions or billions of dollars sitting overnight, and they make even 0.2% interest on it. It's still a lot of money. Sam Adams, that's a good stock to buy during a pandemic. Wow, it's really come down. See, the thing is, right? People start buying it right in the beginning of the pandemic because sales should start growing because people are depressed, they're in their house a lot. So you can't wait. You have to kind of buy 6 months before something happens. And you can't wait to sell. You have to sell 6 months before it happens. If you wait, you're always too late to the game. But they're doing wow, their numbers are really strong. It looks good. A long-term play. Operating cash flow is increasing also. And they're not really using debt or equity. What's the market cap? 6.3 billion. That's a pretty big market cap. Taoboa? Oh, Taobao. $27 PE ratio. It looks like it's priced appropriately. It doesn't look like there's much upside potential. It looks like because it has a PE of 26. Price sales of 3, so I think yeah, it's a subsidiary of Alibaba. I think I've heard of that. Is that similar to Pinduoduo? 8th most visited site in 2021. So it's like Amazon. So it's similar to Amazon. Yeah, this is a good stock, Alibaba. There's just so many stocks, right? Which one do you choose? This is really undervalued, Alibaba. It was cut in half. It's come up a little bit. Look how big those revenue numbers are. Sheesh. It's over 100 billion US dollars in revenue. and they're cash flow positive. It's going to come back. It's hard to know like how long it's going to take for people to feel comfortable about investing in Chinese stocks again. Designer brand? Did I do a video on the designer brand? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about designer brand. I'm not. So yeah, I think I'm getting tired now. So yeah, thanks for joining the live stream. I'm probably gonna go to bed soon. Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, let me know in the comments of any of the videos if there's a stock you want me to do. And yeah, thanks for joining today. And I'll see everybody around. Yeah, I'll check out designer brands. Maybe I'll do a video on them.